of friends. It's me, Boozy. So I hope you've already seen my crop circles, my UFO crash site, and my military base videos, because this is an extension of those. Actually, it's part 1 of 5 new builds I am doing to complement those first 3 videos. Now, every good crop circle, every good UFO crash site needs a UFO festival venue. Somewhere for the weirdos to gather and to hang out. The weirdos like Mr. Boozy and myself. We have been to a few of these festivals. And there's 2 ways you can do it. You can stay on site, or you can rent something off site. We prefer to stay on site, and I'll tell you why. When you're off site, you're always on a time crunch, right? Are we going to wake up in time to get there? Do we need to rent a car? Do we need an Uber? There's a lot of anxiety with it. Now, when you're staying on site, you just wake up. You have your coffee, you stroll on over to your lecture hall, your concert, what have you. So that's what I wanted to do here. I wanted to make a nice on-site bed and breakfast for all of those ufologists who are going to be coming to this venue to listen to concerts, to listen to lectures, to be on panels for whatever, right? So we needed a really nice B&B. And of course, we can only do so much. So I'm moving one of my guest houses, and that's going to be my B&B. Now, this is like a Harry Potter B&B, right? So what you see here, when you go inside, just imagine multiple of these sites, okay? What you doing there, Boozy? Oh, obviously we are moving our house to be a B&B. It's, you know what? There's so much red tape. Can I just tell you? So much red tape to do anything. But thank you, Fletch. We do need that. So besides the bed and breakfast, I will be building a concert area, complete with chairs, bleachers, restrooms. There will also be a beautiful courtyard for people to gather and kind of just digest what they have seen, what they've heard, what they've experienced. There'll be a beautiful campground for those who don't want to stay in a B&B, maybe who can't afford to stay in a B&B. And lastly, a marketplace. So when you come to stay, you can stay for days at a time, and you're going to find everything you need right here on this property. After a long day of parades, of panel discussions, you know, all the things that come along with a festival. Of course, I'm assuming you've all been to UFO festivals, or any festival for that matter. It's nice to come back to where you're staying and just to be able to relax, you know, with a hot mug of coffee, maybe a glass of wine, but just to sit and relax and enjoy time with your friends. Fun fact, Mr. Boozy and I were at the 75th anniversary of the Roswell incident, and we did not stay on site. Actually, the festival was over many miles, different venues, and we were staying in a hotel a few miles away from the center of it, and it was really difficult to get around. I'll be honest. Again, it was checking your watch, making sure you're going to be to the lectures on time, making sure you weren't going to miss stuff. So I really wanted there to be a nice bed and breakfast at this venue where you could come and stay and just enjoy the festivities. Now, of course, I wanted to kind of hide what was going on behind it. I didn't want it to take away when you're on the other side of the river. This beautiful B&B, of course. I also had planned it out ahead of time, and we all know what happens when you plan ahead, right? It never quite works out the way you expect it to, and it's hard for me to math. Even though I actually had my graph paper out, I did. but it was difficult for me to get it exactly how I envisioned it in my head. So I just did my best. I did my best with what I had. So I did have a rough idea of what I wanted to do. And of course, as you start building, you start thinking of the other things, like, should this connect to the staircases? You know, how much grass should there be? Should there be more pathing? It's a whole thing. Anyone who designs these, anyone who builds knows it's always a whole thing, right? So I did actually go back and forth whether I wanted the pathing to be the same as that under the house, if I wanted to match exactly with the bridge. It's a process. And I mean, that's what we all go through, and that's what it should be. As you put things down, you have a rough idea in your head what you want, but things change when you put them down. You're like, oh, you know, it'd be really great here. You know, maybe a lily pilly would be great there. You know, maybe we shouldn't put so many flower beds. Maybe there, you know, you just have to go with the flow sometimes. And I am learning that, go with the flow. It's not easy for me, but the more I build, I think I'm getting better and better at it. But you'll see there are many changes that happened throughout this build. I go back and I change quite a few things, and I think that's, again, just all part of the process. So here I get one of my brainstorms, right? I'm thinking, oh, okay. You know, it'd be amazing is if I could put this light down into the ground so it lights up the stairs, so it's hidden by the flower beds, and it'll be just like half the height of the regular light. You know, this is going to be amazing. Okay, amazing takes time. Amazing is not always easy. But I did really like the finished look of this. And we have light, and we have our B&B. Honestly, I kind of liked it purple, but we're not going to keep it purple. This whole property is surrounded by water, and I tried to keep that in mind as I was designing. I wanted to keep that coastal kind of feel to it, but it is a concert venue. It's a UFO festival venue, so I had to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit. This is another one of those, you know, amazing things I had in my head, right? How I was going to put these little side gardens for the B&B. So after you're done with your day at the festival, you could come back and you had kind of a place to sit and just relax. Just that felt calm, that helped you wind down from your day, right? So I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. Again, I had kind of a loose idea what I wanted to do. And as you can see, once again, plans changed. I went over and over, deciding what it was I wanted to do. And I'm pretty sure I changed it 2 or 3 times. But I was really happy with how it ended. So I think that's how you know when you're doing the right thing, is when you're looking at it going, meh. And then when you're like, oh, yeah, there we go. I like that a lot. And that's kind of what happened. I kept changing things until it was, yeah, there we go. That's what I was thinking. So now I'm trying to decide, what do I want to do for these kind of calm little areas? Is it going to be a Zen garden? Should there be a water feature? I knew I wanted a couple benches. I knew I wanted it to be kind of intimate and just very relaxing. So, of course, like any normal person, I tried 2 or 3 different things. I even did 2 different things on the separate sides so I could run back and forth to see which I liked best. It sounds crazy, but you know what? This process works for me. This process works for me, and once again, I really enjoyed how it came out, and it was one of those, yes, that's what I wanted. So, Jersey, these little pink flowers are for you. Bye-bye, Purple House. So, we went more coastal, more just natural tones. Not so bright, which hurt my heart, I can tell you that. But we wanted it to go with the theme, and we wanted it to blend in with the things around it. had in my mind, maybe a little waterfall would look good on one of these sides. Maybe the waterfall is what would be relaxing, right? Bring it in from the river, have the natural water level. And you know what? It was great. It looked fine. But it wasn't knocking my socks off, if you know what I mean. I mean, you're not going to know if you like it until you try it, right? So this is where I kind of went back and forth. Which one do I like best? Obviously, this is also before I learned about place items. Those darn coconuts took quite some time to grow. And then the design started. The design of the patio area. I had such trouble with this as well. I tried to imagine it in my head at first. I had a loose idea of what I was thinking, but oh man, it was so much more difficult than it needed to be. But it did turn out well. But there were a lot of trial and error before I got what it is I wanted. So this is when it kind of came to me with the furniture and whatnot. What was it that I wanted to see when I was sitting there in the evenings? What is it? Did I want to look off to the side? Did I want to look at the person next to me? And I decided, I'm going to want to look out to that beautiful courtyard. So I moved the furniture up towards the front of the patio, and I started adding the planters, I started adding the different flowers, and I started really decorating towards the courtyard. So like I was sitting in the chairs looking out, and that's what I decided was important, was what we were looking at when we were sitting in those chairs. As you noticed, everything was kind of naked in the back, right? And that's what I was noticing too. I needed to add some more greenery. Again, it was supposed to be coastal, so I wanted to add some green, some trees, just something to make it more organic and add some color, because that deck, as beautiful as it is, was still just a deck, and it needed something. And the little trees were a good start. And as I went, it kept evolving. And that's what builds do. They evolve as you go. I always start with a rough plan, and the plans always evolve. I have never done a build where it goes exactly the way I planned it the first time. That just has never happened for me. So I started experimenting with different trees. Should there be flowers? Do we want it to be more like a garden up top as well? You know, these are all questions. What do you want it to look like? You know, what's the final look you're going for? Yeah, I decided I wanted the lily pad pond. I wanted the lily pad pond rather than the waterfall. And I wanted there to be more green. As I was building, it was just, there was too much wood, and I wanted more nature, if that makes sense. And this was one of those little zen areas that I had in my head to start with, but I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to do it. But I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I would stay here 100%. I'd just like to say I'm very excited about the dev commands because I don't ever want to have to plant another coconut. I'd be happy with the full-grown tree. Thank you very much. Now there are just a few more things, of course, in order to finish our B&B. One of the things being, let's name this puppy, right? This beautiful venue that we're about to make. And inspiration just hit. It just hit me. Did any of you in the 90s watch the Roswell series? Well, there was a diner there called the Crashdown. And I thought, what a wonderful name for this venue. So here we are. We have a B&B, a beautiful bed and breakfast for our UFO festival venue. We have our beautiful lily pad ponds. We have our amazing deck and our house, our other little zen pond over here. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to stay here, please? I love the way the trees turned out with the coconut tree and the 2 banana trees. And the chairs facing the courtyard. I mean, obviously, just beautiful. It just looks so relaxing. And one more view, if you will. Let's check it out at night. Oh, already look at that view, right? So this is how we check the lighting. That's beautiful Zen gardens. Yup, not too much light if you want to come and just relax in the evening. The fairy lights looking beautiful. Glow buttons, just the right amount of light. And those recessed, the recessed lights by the stairs. It took some time, but they are gorgeous. Oh, just look at that. I mean, I'm already relaxed. I'm not even there. This was such a fun build. And again, just 1 of 5. I'm excited to show you the concert area that I designed. And I mean, possibilities are endless. I'm starting with 5, right? Because that's the space I have, but who knows? There maybe might be more. We'll see. But thank you for joining me at the Crashdown. We'll see you next time.